everyone, welcome to Couch Creations on a Friday night, where tonight we are going to make another Christmas design. We are working this month into Christmas in July, so tonight we are going to put together a little bit more of a traditional Christmas design with a twist. Obviously, the theme behind tonight's design is going to be the North Pole. So I'm sure you can probably think of all kinds of stuff that might be associated with the North Pole. Matter of fact, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on things that you think of, like, what is it, the $20,000 pyramid question? You guys have to like type in things that you would find at the North Pole. And then obviously we'll see if the theme fits the items that you guys are putting in. So before we start, I want to welcome you if you're a first-time viewer. If you are, let us know in the comments. Hi, I'm Kat. I'm from Southern California. I'm new. This is my first time watching. We'd love to welcome you. Not only that, by you putting your location, is a lot of times you make a crafting connection with a fellow crafter through Facebook Lives. You might find somebody that you're like, hey, I'm in the same city as you, and then you guys start on your little conversation, which is great. I always encourage you to find other crafting people that live nearby or near you. Trying to think of what else. If you are catching this on YouTube, make sure you click that subscription bell in the upper right hand corner. That will subscribe you to my channel so that when we drop new videos like this one, you'll be notified that, hey, there's a new video tutorial for you to watch. Right now, I'm yielding to a red and white theme. That is your hint along with the North Pole. You'll kind of have to wait and see how it evolves from there. If you like this design and want to replicate it, click the share button below. That'll share this to your page. So much easier for you to find the tutorial once you get all of your items in stock. Some of the items you may not find are exact because, believe it or not, I'm dipping into 5 years worth of old Christmas ribbon inventory and pulling from items that may no longer be available. So,
hi everybody, Rita said hi, Kat, everybody. So thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you. And I was trying to make sure I didn't miss anything else. YouTube.
Yeah, Linda said she can't do that at Christmas yet. And I said, that's okay, but for those who do, that you're kind of ahead of the game by having all your Christmas stuff stocked in your shop.
So you'll start to see a lot of the retail stores are starting to, they'll probably start flipping back to school, and then obviously they'll start to put out some of their seasonal items. The reason why we do Christmas in July, we kind of follow everybody else who's doing the Christmas in July theme. Hallmark Channel does all their movies for Christmas in July. A lot of families that do Christmas get-togethers plan to do that in June because the weather's nicer than trying to schedule that sometimes in December where travel plans can be hampered. So a lot of clients actually shop for their Christmas stuff in July. So we're just kind of making sure that our clients are able to find things they're looking for.
Terry said, hi, I'm back after being in hospital for 11 months.
Wow, that's a long
rehab. Now at home, good to see you again. Glad to see you're
glad you're home. We always recover nicer at home. Wow, 11 months, that's a long hospital stay. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to show you how we're setting up our 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. I've done the first 5 sections for you. We're going to do the last section together, which is exactly the way I've done the other 5. You're going to take your pipe cleaner. Now, that's the biggest question I usually get asked. Where do you buy your pipe cleaners? Because most people are finding their pipe cleaners are thin and flimsy. So if you were going to online retailers and trying to get like 1,000 pipe cleaners for like $4, the odds of you getting a good quality pipe cleaner are probably not going to be there. So I get mine from Hobby Lobby. If I need them locally, like I have been the last couple weeks, I just go and I buy, 5 packs of white, 5 packs of red, 5 packs of all your neutrals. And until I can get down to Shinoda, because Shinoda has the best quality pipe cleaners. I don't know where they buy theirs from, but they're my all-time favorite. So 1 pipe cleaner, using the weld marks, we're gonna go right in the middle of this wreath frame, and I'm going to wire the 2 innermost rings together so that we have that done. And then we're going to get another, I'm just going with the color coding if I can do that. Like I like to make everything kind of match. Then I'm going to take another pipe cleaner. I'm going to wire together the outside two, kind of using, once I twist this on there, the weld and the center pipe cleaner. I try to find a midway point there. Take the other pipe cleaner, go to the other side and do that as well. This will give you 12 on the outside, 6 on the inside. By outside, I mean just the ones on the outside, tying together the two outside, and then doing the two inside gives you 6, grand total of 18. I like working with even numbers when we're doing mesh and ribbon especially, because then when you're planning, it's easy to make sure everything comes up in an even number. Trying to do an odd number like 11 or trying to think of what is some of them. Sometimes we get like 9 on the inside and 9 on the outside. That's really hard to do ribbon, so you usually have to find 3 different types of ribbon to do that method. But we are doing a white metallic and red, well, it's kind of like, it's hard to say. It's definitely red metallic, and then it's got a white thick border through here. So it's a red and white, just regular Deco mesh.
You want to go back really quick and show them one of the ties, how you did it, because I had it kind of more focused on you as I was watching comments, and I didn't have it zoomed down to the...
Sure. Let me just take one of these off. So I'm going to do the inside one.
Yep.
And we're just going to go right in between, wiring together the 2. Always 2. Why? Because no matter how tight you can try to, twist your pipe cleaner on, if you only try for the 1, it's still going to flop. This gives it some stability by wiring the 2 together.
Yep.
Okay, so we are taking 20-inch pieces of this red and white striped, because I'm taking hints from around the sign, so it kind of feels a little bit peppermint-like, like candy cane. So doing the ruffle method, you can cut your mesh, this particular mesh, wood burning tool, which will yield you about a 95% non-fray rate. You might have a couple pieces here and there, and that might be the very, very edge, but generally you will not have frays. Like if you are new to Deco mesh wreath making, that was like the one thing I hated most, more than anything, was frays. So cutting with the wood burning tool is a lifesaver. So we're just going to focus on this mid section, that's our middle section, and I am pulling the Deco mesh towards me, and I'm laying it flat so that it's curling like away. So I'm not putting the curly side up, I'm doing curly side down. And then I'm going to put the finished edges towards the inside so that the cut edges of my mesh are on the outside. And
I'm trying Kathy on the knee surgery, I think, right? How's your knee doing? I think so. There's a couple of people asking.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so as soon as the incisions are healed, we'll be in the pool.
There you go. Great
awesome.
Therapy. Okay, so I always start with the inside. That's just me. You can start wherever you want. I usually just tackle the very next pipe cleaner I come to. So we're going to be doing this 18 times. Well, actually this will be 17. But it goes pretty quick. Some people call this a ruffle. Some people call it the bow tie. I think whatever they call it. Ruffle, bow tie, scrunch method. So I just do 2 twists to the outside, and then I will somewhat kind of fluff my outside pieces. So right now I'm getting ready to work into the next section, so I will not fluff this one until I have all 3 put together. Why? Because the middle one fills the gap between the other 2, so we want to make sure that when we're laying our Deco mesh in, it is laying to cover the gap between the 2. So I'll show you what I'm talking about when we put those 3 pieces in. So I'm going to open this one up. This is right where my cut section is, just so I can lay those next to each other. I'm not going to do anything with this piece other than resituate the Deco mesh piece I had before it, so that this one can lay on this side, so that I have both of these ready to go for ribbons. I have not done anything with the opposite side, so I'm going to put this one in. This will be our interior in that section, right in here. And this one we need to lay flat, and we need the other 2 outside ones to lay on top. Could you go around and do all 6 on the inside first and then just focus on the outside? Absolutely. Over time, this is just something that I've developed that works for me. So now I'm taking that one preceding it, making sure my mesh is laying flat so that I can open the one before it. See what I'm saying? It's filling the gap. And then we have this one here, which will fill the other side. Because that's what people will ask, is how do you get your ruffles to lay so flat? It's the middle ones are basically fillers for the outside ones. So right in here. We're going to come in, 2 twists, and we can open this one up. So now I can see this and this one, which are the 2 in that section. So see how you don't really see the middle one? Because I've got like the ends meeting. It just basically fills the one in the center. So now I can access both of those sections. That's what we're doing in every single one of those 6 sections. Okay, back to the outside. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take the pipe cleaners in the sections and then just kind of push them out of the way so that they don't get stuck in the other mesh that you're going to put in, especially when you have a lot of open holes like this. Your pipe cleaners just pop through. Okay, back to the inside. Right in here. Now we're doing an inside one, so I'm going to be removing this once I give it quite a few twists. You can tell I didn't bring my trash can over because I'm stockpiling my debris on the counter. And Steve's going to go get the trash can for me. It's like I had it there earlier when I was working on kits, and then I moved everything back, not thinking, hey, you're going to need that for later. Okay, I'm always pushing my scissors off. Scissors just help keep the mesh flat so that I can actually just pull that and it doesn't tuck underneath. 2 twists. Fix this one.
Deborah says my Halloween wreath turned out great. The ribbon in the kit was great. Thank you.
I love all the kits, and I think we're supposed to get an order for more supplies that was supposed to come tomorrow. I think they're coming Sunday, so we should have more fall, Halloween. I have 3 Christmas kits that I did earlier today. I haven't had a chance to list them and post them. But I've had a couple people ask about what's called a premium kit, and that's everything you need to finish your design. It comes with embellishments. It might come with scatters and fillers.
higher quality
ribbon. Like I really dig in and try to find stuff that is a little on the pricier side so that you're really yielding something along the lines of like what I would put together. So higher quality mesh, higher quality ribbon.
Sunny Strong said, hello to my mentor Kat. Learned everything from this wonderful lady.
Aww.
Also, hi Steve. Hi.
Hi Stormy, how are you? And yes, without Steve, I'd be pretty lost.
Oh, you would.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I make it work when you're not here. Like when he had to travel quite a bit, you know, we made it work. But it's nice having him because he can read the comments. He can address any questions you have. We ask him to share because YouTube subscribers don't see the news feed, so they don't see the questions. So a lot of times if you hear him say so-and-so asked a question, it's relevant to our YouTube subscribers who can benefit from that information as well. Okay, we are trying to wrap this up quickly. So yeah, premium kits will contain things that have been in my inventory for the last 5+ years. Sometimes they might include something like a really nice set of like witch legs to go with a Halloween themed wreath, like the bendable, posable kind. It might come with that and a handful of other embellishments. It's just everything that I would put together in a wreath, we're putting together in a premium kit. I'm trying to think of the one we did yesterday, like the candy cane. It was a candy cane company one. We did candy cane picks, peppermint scatters and fillers, so that if you wanted to, you know, embellish the ends of your pipe cleaners, you could do that. All of your design is just, it's all color coordinated perfectly for you. You just put it together. You might want to add a few other things. You know, like you might want to add more picks. We did a Santa one where it had Christmas packages and just things that you would think of that were relating to Santa. The gnome one was big. That was the one I was emailed about. People wanted more gnomes. So that was like, I had an idea to do a gnome wreath, but I never did it. So I just put everything together and turned it into a kit. Thank you for that trash can, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So
I peeked in and waved to everybody to do it.
You peeked in?
And waved.
Oh, here, so they can all see who you are.
Yeah.
Right now, you're just the faceless voice.
I'm the color commentary.
Yeah, you are the comedic relief for me.
There you go.
That, oh my God, I forgot my staple gun. Can you please go get it so I don't have to leave? And we just keep going. But there are some premium kits coming tonight. There's a beach one. Was there a Santa one? There's another one.
Is it the old Holy Night one?
No. We did 2 premium kits today.
Oh! Candyland one.
Candyland one. So if you guys have been wanting to do a Candyland wreath, I mean, that stuff has been some of the vintage candies that we had. Those are all going in that kit.
Good night, Tracy. Thanks for watching.
Trying to think of what else. I'm waiting for Mesh to come in so I can put together a couple snowman kits with everything you would think of. Snowflakes, snowballs, furry, what do you call it? Fur-edged ribbon and all kinds of stuff.
And thank you for all sharing your Friday with us.
Yes. For some of you, you guys totally love the Friday. It's just you're like...
For some of you, it's morning.
Could be too. There are some people who are there Saturday morning. Okay, 2 more pieces. So you can see how full this is getting. Guess I can get rid of these now. Okay, I'm gonna go back under. Make sure this one goes up. So we can see all those pipe cleaners. So 2 more pieces, and then have you guys come up with any things that you think of when you think of the words North Pole? What would you find in the North Pole? That was my opening question. This would look really cute with a Santa butt in it. This mesh.
Yeah. Molly said, love this wreath. Charlotte said, thank you for being here. Thank you, Charlotte.
You're so
Gretchen,
welcome.
who's already bought 1 or 2 kits from us.
Mm-hmm.
She says, what time are you posting the kits? I'm excited about the candy one.
Once I finish. Once I finish. It takes me a little bit to upload the photos, and then I'm always curious because I don't think anyone reads my ribbon listings. I go through.
Lourdes says elves.
Elves, okay.
Gretchen said a black pole.
A what?
A black pole. Linda said snow, cold, and moose.
Okay.
Moose would be cool. But they're hard to find signs and stuff for a moose.
You have to go with a custom sign for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to do a Christmas
polar
week.
bears.
Polar bears.
Laura, penguins are on the wrong continent.
That would be South Pole. But I would still think of them in the North Pole. Maybe they just go there.
Yeah. Maybe a polar bear and a Coca-Cola bottle.
That would so work because I have like polar bears with red scarves on them and ice skates, and that would have been super cute for this design.
Santa's workshop.
Yeah, Santa's workshop for sure. Okay, so you guys have given me some ideas, some suggestions. So I'm going to show you what we're doing as far as our ribbon selection. So, all high end,
Penguins
right?
are cute though.
Penguins fit. So let me show you. First of all, you actually have to have ribbon that says the North Pole. So it kind of reminds me of the same font for the movie The Santa Claus. So this is going around to tie the sign into our theme. And then we're kind of going with a Santa theme, because the one thing that I think is the thing that you would think about the most is Santa's at the North Pole. So this is just his laundry items. It's a chenille edged ribbon, so it has his boots, his hat, his coats, and his socks and mittens. So we're alternating those. Each of these is cut to 14-inch pieces, but this is an example of like what you're likely to find in a premium kit. Stuff like the chenille edge ribbon. You'll see some of the other ones that I'm using here are going to go in. All of these are cut, sorry Steve, to 14-inch pieces. I've already dovetail cut the ends. So this is what we're doing. We place them in, and then when you initially put them in, they're kind of like a concave, right? That's how they go in. When you're done and you put it all the way in, you're gonna put your fingers underneath the other side and pop them out so they fold the opposite way. And then this way it'll kind of draw your eye to the outside.
A lot of people saying Frosty, Santa, and reindeer.
That's true.
Snow rabbits, reindeer sleds.
Reindeers.
Brenda, sprinkled with love from Alberta, Canada. Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you for joining us.
Linda Robbins said reindeer. We have a reindeer farm up here in Leavenworth, Washington.
We were just talking to someone in Leavenworth yesterday, and I was like, are you going to the reindeer farm?
Today.
No, yesterday. It was yesterday.
But they were in Leavenworth this morning.
They were on their way home from Leavenworth today.
Yeah.
But they were saying, have you ever been there? It's just really cute Bavarian town.
Yeah.
And I was like pulling it up on the map, and I'm like, there's a reindeer farm there. Did you go to the reindeer farm? And they were like, no, we don't do the reindeer farm. I would do the reindeer farm. I would have to do that.
Yep.
Have you done the reindeer farm?
Linda?
Yeah. So I'm going to, I like the North Pole to be my focal ribbon. You can change it. This wreath is not listed on my site because I just ran out of time in the course of my day. I was trying to work on the kids and get those done, and then I look up and I'm like, oh, it's 3 o'clock. What are we gonna make? So I think next weekend we're doing everything with lights. So we will have lighted wreaths. So for those of you that are thinking about adding lights, whether you're doing it to a Halloween design or a Christmas design, I'm going to show you how to run your lights, and then a way that you can decorate or elaborate on that.
There's nobody, know people that have been and seen pictures.
Aww.
Hi Anna, hi gals joining. Hope you're having a great Friday so far and a great weekend.
So when you're putting your ribbon in, you also want to make sure if you've got a horizontal design, like on both of these, that the laundry is facing up and not upside down. And that the North Pole, from what you can read of it, is the letters are facing in the right direction.
Thank you, Anna. Anna sent 100 stars.
Thanks, Anna. I appreciate that.
Let's figure out what we're going to do. We haven't done anything for this.
I think for July, because I'm seeing this pop up quite a bit, is a lot of people are starting to do their back to school supplies. Like I see a lot of people fundraising for that. So I think we're going to go back to doing back to school supplies. So, which means that stars, the thing next to the comment window with the gold or yellow star on it, if you send, for each star is 1 cent. So if you did something like 100 stars, it's $1. And then we take that money at the end of every month, and then we haven't done it for the last couple months. We have, we did books for classrooms. That was last year in September.
We've done veterans, we've done Ukraine, we've done pet shelter.
Yeah, we've done pet shelter donations. We've done homeless, blankets for the homeless. We've did Thanksgiving, support a family for Thanksgiving, support a family at Christmas. So that's what we use the stars money for, is to support our community.
So Lourdes, Kathy already did a live in a private group on the Santa app. So that was a private group video, and that'd be great if you feel like joining. I'll place the link down on the
right there, couchcreationsandmore.com. You can have access to, I'm trying to think of how many videos are there now.
Over 300.
Or close to 300. So you have access to the entire library. So everything from all the way back to 2018, right to current. So a couple more of these. So yeah, if you want to join the private group, we're doing the same thing. Our focus is on detailed designs, which will be along the lines of floral arrangements. We're doing the country Christmas grapevine with the lighted candle. And then also something new, and I'll tell you guys this now, is our private group is the first to know when we do the kits. They get kind of like a little priority window where they can shop before everyone else. So it just depends. Like I might give them, I think yesterday I gave them a 4-hour window before I opened it up to the general public. So, and then we're working on more perks for private group members.
Ooh, and also said the city of Leavenworth does a beautiful Christmas festival. The town is all decorated in lights. It's beautiful.
Never know. Might need to take a trip there during Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, so Next, we're going to do half bows. So if you guys have never seen these, I'm going to show you what they are. A lot of times, like when I was watching wreath makers, sometimes they'll do 2.5 inch ribbon, and they'll do a crisscross pattern. And I always felt like in the center of the ribbon, it felt like it was missing something. So I came up with something to fill it with, which is like a 3D awareness ribbon. I call them half bows because it only contains one loop in the bow, but 2 tails. So this is the red, I call this retro stars. On white with a tinsel edge. It's not glitter, it's tinsel, because that was all like part of the retro thing. And then we're also doing Santa faces. So Santa faces are going to go obviously on the Santa laundry, and then the retro stars are going to go on our North Pole ribbon. So these are all, both have been cut to 19-inch pieces. Again, the dovetail's already been done. You're just going to bring your edges together. You're going to go up about 2 inches in and pinch. Okay, just like this. Are you zoomed in or zoomed out?
I'm zooming in.
Well, I'm holding it. So you're going to kind of hold it like this, and then you're going to flip the upside down piece around and then open your loop. So this is what it'll look like kind of sitting in here. So it just kind of, it's like a finished way to finish out that section. So this will go right in here. We will take our pipe cleaners, and I'm actually going to remove these. You could leave them on and add red and white glittered scatters and fillers, the little styrofoam glitter balls. Those would work. I like to alternate my ribbon in the center so that you can still see all of the North Pole as well as the retro ribbon there.
Rocky Top Holiday Shop, you know, for a business. Ask how much to join a private group.
It is $27 a month, and you get everything. You get discounts from all of our supply vendors. We have agreements too, like Crinkle, Jane's Front Door Decor, Three Birds Nest, Personalize It by Pam. For people who are just getting started in the business, Square, you get your first $1,000 fee free.
If you buy the Square and use it for...
If you use my code when you order your
Yeah.
Square, you get your first $1,000 in sales fee free. So no processing fees on that. Materials list for everything, like tonight, my members get to sit back and watch the tutorial just for the fun of it and engage, because they'll get a detailed list of, hey, here's the tinsel ribbon. You will need 6 pieces cut at XY inches. You can order it through this company. Here's the item number if I have it. A lot of times if it's been discontinued, a lot of times you can find something similar through another vendor. So, and then access to all the tutorials. And then we're working on even more benefits. So, oh, and you get the business class included. Right now, a lot of people do separate business and separate design. You get both for the $27 a month. So everything to help set up your Facebook page, your Etsy shop, how to market through Pinterest and Instagram. I'm not a big TikTok person, so I don't really have knowledge there. But everything along those lines.
Clara sent 50 stars. Thank you, Clara.
Thank you.
Deborah said your ribbon selections are the best of any I have seen.
Well, that's why I decided to put together the kits. People were asking me, where'd you get your ribbon? How do you know how to coordinate? God, I wish I could just have you like design a kit for me. And I'm like, well, maybe we can. You know, what if we just started designing kits like how I put my design together before the live? We do that together and box it all up and put it in a kit.
Yeah, I mean, how many kits have you done in the last month?
A lot. Over 100. Yeah. So a lot. But every kit is different. There's never a kit that has the same. So if you buy a kit, you make it, you know that nobody else is going to have the same ability to create that. So you have the same exclusive design that kind of like what we've been doing here is making sure that I never replicate the same wreath twice, with the exception of like,
So it has double doors or something.
yeah, Cellar has double doors, or like the Christmas patriotic, not Christmas, the patriotic swag grapevine with the American flag banner. We'll do a couple of those. But that's pretty, I mean, there's still subtle differences that I know about, because it's not fun for me to replicate the same design over and over. That to me would feel like a job, and this is, I get to create every day. I'm making sure I'm doing this right. So I've been talking. And the Santa faces go either direction. They have some that are upside down and some that are the opposite way. Okay. So when I cut my pipe cleaners off, there's like a little section where you have the pipe cleaner where it's not twisted, the pipe cleaner where it is. I cut it right where it's twisted, and then you'll have like a little piece left over. I take that and it goes all the way around the back side so that you don't see that. That scared me, because we're not supposed to have any deliveries.
Mr. Rogers.
It's Mr. Rogers. Okay. Oh, boxes. Boxes for wreath kits. That was another holdup too, is I ran out of boxes. So, and then we're going down to Shinoda tomorrow to look for some really exclusive ribbons and decor items, signs. A lot of times I'll get signs that nobody else has anywhere there. One of them, to use an example, is the Patriotic Country Angel. We've been emailed, where did you get that? It was just a one-time thing sitting on the shelf. Okay, we are slowly getting this done. Well, there's 50 of them. I don't want to have to order any for a while, which is probably only enough to get me through the next week. What questions do you guys have? And it can be about anything that I can answer for you while I finish putting the ribbon on our design. Even if you're watching this on a replay, especially on YouTube, feel free to ask the questions, because I go through those YouTube questions and comments and I'll answer them. And it's me. I don't have an assistant that answers my email, that answers my YouTube comments, my Facebook comments. It's me.
Clara, thank you again for sending another 50 stars.
Thank you, Clara. So I wonder if they got the star thing fixed. I remember for the longest time people couldn't buy the stars. There was like a glitch.
Oh.
So it's funny that Santa's face is on the laundry. 3 more to go. So yeah, when I think of the North Pole, I think of Santa, the elves, the toy shop. I think of reindeer, Santa's village, Mrs. Santa, what else? Candy canes, cookies, cocoa.
Yeah, snowman.
Snowman, polar bears. I would probably have said penguins too, until Steve would tell me, wrong place. They're more south. I'd be like, well, these are special penguins.
These are North Pole
Just
penguins.
like flying reindeer, right? So, yeah.
That's a puffin.
No. Narwhals, right?
Yeah, there you go.
What is your guys' favorite Christmas movie? Like, what is a must-see movie in your house for the holidays? What is your, like, we always watch this movie? One more to go. I'll share ours, but most of you probably won't know. I probably haven't seen it. Because as we've gotten older, we go back to the classics. You know, things that pop up on Turner Classic Movies. Or, what is the other one? There's another one that does old movie classics. All the old black and whites. Is it a black and white?
Yes.
It is black? Yes.
Yes.
I'm like, unless they colorized it and I don't remember, I think it's originally it's probably black and white. But I don't think they've colorized it. Okay, this one's all finished. And if you notice when I pick it up, there's no frays. There's no pieces of Deco mesh. There might be little pieces of tinsel or the fuzz from the pipe cleaners I've cut off. But that is your base design. So it's still lightweight. Once we start adding the bow, the sign, some of the embellishments, it's gonna add a little bit of weight to it, but not anything that's gonna be like, wow, this is a really heavy wreath. So most people, when they think Deco mesh, they think heavy. Deco mesh is very lightweight. So, and we won't do the sign yet. Let's go make our bow. So I'm gonna set this to the side. So we have our ribbon choices. Santa, the retro, and then we're going to incorporate glittered candy cane, and then we're also going to do a Swiss dot to play off of the dots here. So we're gonna probably do Santa's laundry on the bottom. We'll do this one. I'm gonna finish with the Santa. We'll probably drop this one in. This, and then that. And I think, like, I always plan out my ribbon selection like this before I start creating so that I know what ribbon I'm gonna grab and that comes next. So, where'd they all come from? Kringle Designs, Fifth Street Studios, Craft Outlet, whoop, and that's it. Now I just messed up my sequence. I think, nope, I think it was like this. Yes, okay. So this is my recipe for a bow that will yield you, if you measure from the loops only, that the farthest loops you stretch out will be an 11-inch diameter bow. So that's the widest will be. With your tails, obviously it's gonna go a little bit longer, but I like having longer tails. There are people who will follow the recipe, but then cut all their tails so that they're the same length as their loop size so that they can mix them in. I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. So the first thing you always wanna do is dovetail cut, which is take your wired edges, and I always use wired ribbon, because when you store these away for the season, you may put something heavy on top. I have some people who put more than one wreath together and kind of smash them. The nice thing about the wired ribbon is you can take them and give them life. You know, you can bring them back. So we're gonna take our scissors, make sure I grab the right ones. You're gonna cut from the folded side, not the wired side. But our end point is the end of that wired point. So just like this. And then you have a perfect dovetail or ducktail or fishtail cut. So we are going to measure out 10 inches, and then you're gonna gather it. I use the Bodabra. You're gonna twist it and you're gonna slide it right in between those two pieces. So we always start with right side fabric. We're gonna flip it around. I'm going to just guesstimate, that's way too big, but we want 5.5 inch loops. So if I take my Bodabra and line this up on the 10-inch mark, stretch this out. Right now it's at 6.5. So I'm just gonna slightly pull this in 1 inch, so I have 5.5 inches. And then I'm gonna do the same on the other side. We want 5.5 inches. So you'll always see me bring it back, measure it, make adjustments, and then we go back out to 10 inches. Dovetail cut, because if you get into creating your own routine, you won't do things like forget to cut one of your tails. You will know what comes next. You just kind of follow the recipe like you would if you were making dessert or cake. And then this one is going to be cut to 5.5 inches for your tail length. That's these. So we start right at the end, measure 9.5 inches. I'm going to gather, twist, place right on the inside. This time the loops are going to be 5 inches in diameter. So measure, stretch, flip, and then place those here. That one's a little bit long. And then 9.5 inches out. Cut.
Yeah, they're all like Christmas Carol, Elf, It's a Wonderful Life, White Christmas, that's one of my favorites.
We watch White Christmas.
A Christmas Carol, Santa Claus, that's a good one.
Yes, Santa
Christmas
Claus.
in Connecticut. Nobody's guessed our favorite there, so.
Which leads me to believe that most people don't know what that movie is.
Some do. I hope.
So yeah, I mean, trying to think. We watch White Christmas and Holiday Inn because those are classics. But the one that we watch that most people don't know of, and you all need to watch it if you've never seen it before, promise me you will watch it this year. It's called It Happened on Fifth Avenue. So it's kind of like
Christmas Story. Yeah, it's our favorite pretty much now.
Yeah, it's our all-time favorite. Like everybody in our family watches that movie. But it's like a homeless person who basically takes over the house of a wealthy man while he vacations during the off season somewhere else. So it's kind of like his way of not being homeless during the Christmas season. So I will leave the rest at that. So you have to watch it. It's very good. Very, very good. But yeah, what is it? Like White Christmas, Holiday Inn, It's a Wonderful Life. There's some other ones too that are in that. Shop Around the Corner is really good if you liked You've Got Mail. That was the original premise for that movie. So if you want to see where it came from, that was the original.
With Jimmy Stewart too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else. See, we're big Christmas people. That's like my favorite holiday. So we go all out for Christmas. Decorating wise, it's like I've always wanted to make sure that like all of your bedding matched. You had Christmas bedding so that Christmas time it kind of felt nice. But it's taken us, we'll be married 25 years in February. 25 years. Of getting to
great.
that
Look at
point.
the camera like, oh, 25 years.
25 years. Well, yeah, because I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's true. So, sorry I stopped giving you my bow dimensions. So, first one was 10 inches with 5.5 inch loop. Then it's 9.5 inches with 5-inch loop. Then it goes 9 inches with a 4.5 inch loop. And then ribbon number 4 is the same. It's 4.5 inches, but the tail length is 8.5. So when you've already measured your bottom one at 4.5, all you have to do is put your fingers in the bottom one and then pull. And then you pretty much are right on the money, but you will still need to measure out your 8.5. And then
Yeah, and Miracle on 34th Street.
the original or the colorized, more modern version? The Natalie Wood version
I
or...
like the original, but I like them both.
Yeah, that has pros and cons to both.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones I watch at Thanksgiving because it starts off in Thanksgiving with Macy's parade. Okay, this one is going to be 8 inches for our tail length and 4 inches for the loop length.
Original. Nobody said Die Hard, huh? Just kidding.
I don't know where people came up with the fact that Die Hard ever found its way into the Christmas movie genres. Like, it is not.
It's not
If we're going to take every movie that had something to do with the holidays, there's a ton more movies for that. So 4 inches for this one.
Yeah, then you could start saying Harry Potter and...
Yeah, Harry Potter. They all went home for Christmas. Look, this was a splice. Just like that. That's one of the nice things about the kids is when stuff like that happens. I take care of that. You don't get a spliced set of ribbons. You get exactly what you need.
Yeah, Kathy said Polar Express. Yep. Oh, Kathy Wilson said, question, as far as resale of the finished wreath kits, I'm terrible about putting colors together. Would you sell for cost of kit or add a few dollars?
You need to add some money to that because you put it together. You cut the ribbon, you formed the entire design.
The cost of the frame, the cost of the box, all that little stuff kind of has to be added in.
Well, for them, as far as the kit goes, yes, you want to be cost plus whatever. Just like what we do here, it's whatever the cost of everything is, the labor to put it all together, all your materials costs, your shipping costs. Last ribbon is 7.5 inches with a 3.5 inch loop size. So I wanted to finish up on Santa. I always pick the nicest ribbon for the top. So 3.5, flipping it, measure, confirm, and then do your ribbon length. This one's even cute because you can get all kinds of clues from things in your ribbon. Like in this one, Santa's holding candy canes, so you can introduce the candy cane theme. In here, you could add candy canes as your embellishment because you have the pattern going around the North Pole sign, which is why we use the candy cane ribbon in here. Okay. So, now, to put it all together, we're going to take a pipe cleaner and prep it so that when I go to pick up the stack, I don't have to, I didn't get my pipe cleaner ready. And as I'm doing this, I'm picking it up. I have all my fingers on the bottom and then my thumbs on the top, compressing this and squishing it down. So there's your stack. You're going to slide your pipe cleaner in. I like to hold it at the bottom and then take your whole stack and twist. So that's putting your twist on your ribbon. You can zip tie it, you can use floral wire. It's entirely up to you. I just find that this gives me a better grip. Then, pin away. We are gonna get our fluff board out so that you can actually see how to fluff your bow. So we've thought about taking, offering pre-done bows, which means you wouldn't get it like this, you'd get it all fluffed.
Right.
Well, not fluffed. Separated and squished flat for shipping, because you don't want, I'm like trying to figure out the height of the box. We try not to go any higher than 4 inches. So if you guys are into having your bows done, that might be something we give as an option on checkout, is that you want the materials that would come in your kit put together in a bow, and I'll show you where it would stop so that you can fluff it, but then it's all put together. Like, I'll show you the part we stop. So we're gonna go like this, and you're gonna pull your tail to one side and your loop to the other. It's all gonna be about tops and bottoms. So separate the loop from the tail, then go to the other side and go opposite. So I'm gonna take my loop here and my tail, and I'm gonna pull it around here. So the tails are directly opposite each other, and so are the loops. Then you're gonna go to the next ribbon and go opposite, meaning our loop is here. So our loop is gonna go to this side, and our tail is gonna go over to the left. Okay, see, it's kind of alternating the colors and patterns. Same thing here. We had our tail here. So I'm gonna do my loop over here, and I'm moving my tail here. So now if I was to pull these up and look down, everything is a staggered pattern between the loop and the tails. So we just keep bringing down the next one. So we're gonna follow the Santa laundry right here, go to the other side, do the same, go over here, the same, right here, okay, opposites, and then Santa follows with the retro ribbon, and then opposites. So your bow would be shipped like this. So it's all done, it's all put together. All you need to do is fluff it. Because this ships better, it saves you money, because every inch you go up is an extra $3+ in shipping. So if we can keep it flat and low cost, we're trying to save you as much money as we possibly can on shipping. So then what you do is you'd pick it up at this point, which is you can put it on your wreath like this, and then fluff on your wreath, which is you grab your top 2 loops, you put your fingers in them and lift. Same things here. Lift, right? Take the next 2. I'm trying to get my finger in that one. Lift those up. Go over here. Lift these up. And then the bottom ones, we're going to put all 4 fingers in, because we really want to be able to open the loops just like that. So over this side, there's one. Oops. Just like this. And then to put the curl, or the little arc back in your ribbon, is like the old curling ribbon. You're just going to run it through your fingers, just like this, and you get all that really pretty arcs back through your ribbon. It's a little harder to do it on the bottom. You generally do that when it's on the door, but you can pick and choose, you know, what pattern, what color you like. What I'm saying is how some people will cut the ribbon lengths to the bow length is, instead of this being out here, they would cut these tails to this length. Then these ones, they would cut them to this length. And then up here, their tails are cut a little bit shorter. This way they can blend tails and loops together. But if you wanted to have something like this where it cascades out a little bit longer, then this would be your bow recipe for that. So when I said it's a 11 inch in diameter, it's basically taking it from this loop to this loop, and that's 11 inches. So the tails go a little bit longer. But when you put it on the wreath, they go around the sides of your wreath.
Hi, Michelle. She says hello from Australia.
Hi, Michelle. How are you? And then this is what your ribbon looks like when you're finished. Super simple. So that's why I say, you know, this is my recipe for this size bow. You can definitely do it with a lot less ribbon, but believe it or not, when you do it with more ribbon, you're actually using less ribbon, in the fact that, like, if all I was to do is maybe just do the North Pole ribbon, like use 3, you can still add enough ribbon, but in that case, you're going to be using more on the roll. Whereas here, you might only, like the top one is only about 24 inches in diameter, like stretched out and then put together in its form. Whereas like the bottom one might be 3 feet long when you go tail, the loop, and then the tail. Okay.
Okay, hi Mom, Sabuna.
Sabuna.
Do you remember where that's from?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, she said, she talked to Kate about it.
Oh, that's funny. Let me get, I'm looking for my tool. Here it is. This is a new favorite tool for taking decals off your signs. It's basically like a razor blade scraper. You can get them in an automotive thing. I ordered mine off of Amazon because it came with 2 with all the razor blades. So it just makes taking off your stickers so much easier than trying to use your fingernails to remove that. There we go. Can't tell the sticker was there. So that's my favorite must-have tool.
For the month.
Besides staple gun, glue gun.
Favorite tool of the month.
Favorite tool of the month. So I'm going to staple my pipe cleaners to my sign. For those of you that don't have a staple gun, in the kits we include the adhesive cable ties, which are these little things. So you can stick them to your back of your sign. I would recommend following that up with either Gorilla Glue, Crazy Glue on top of that, just to give it the assurance that it's not going to pop loose when the temperature changes. So if you have like extreme heat or extreme cold, that might give way. But if you have a staple gun and using 1/4 inch staples, which for the most part, if the signs are like this in the kit, they are a 1/4 inch or greater, unless I tell you differently, like a waterproof sign. It's not a 1/4 inch thick. You can use your staple gun and just staple your pipe cleaners to the back of your sign. Always give it a twist so they don't pull out while I'm trying to feed them through. So just one on each side of the pipe cleaner. I think I'm out of staples.
Right?
I am out of staples. So while Steve does that, I am going to look and see where we're going to put our bow. I have half of it done. There's that one. We will kind of look and figure out where we're going with this design. So right now, all of our mesh has this open hole pattern. The sign is, I think it's a 12.5. Yes, it's a 6 by 12.5. So remember, we started with a 14 inch frame. Right now, the dimension of our wreath, measuring from the Deco mesh to Deco mesh end, is 24 inches. If you went ribbon tail to ribbon tail, It's about 26 inches. So you can decide how you want to lay this out. You can decide to angle it. The fact is our sign doesn't have any empty space. So we want to make sure that when you put your bow on it, that you can still read what the sign says. So you can go put the North Pole at the top, add your bow to the bottom. You can do the reverse, put your bow at the bottom, put your sign at the bottom, bow on the top. You can pivot it, kind of turn it at an angle, which is probably what I will end up doing. But you can play with the design. That part is up to you. So I've done all of them. There we go. Thank you. Didn't want to do the dance and sing thing. That's not pretty. So I think I'm going to go right about there. So I'm kind of looking, when I'm deciding placement, I'm looking at where all my bow loops are, and I'm kind of placing that, the corners in between where I have my loops. And then I have all this area up here for my bow. So I'm going to take this. What I do is I lift up the mesh that's right in front of that loop. Make sure I hit my frame, and I don't want it to go too far down. So I'm gonna kind of push right about there. That's about as deep as I want it to go. I will secure that. Just a couple twists in case I have to adjust it. I'm gonna go through on this side, pull my mesh forward, grab this one too, and I'm gonna go right down in here, and I'll show you why. Oops. Trying to get that down. What is that from that Kaylee said that?
House of Anubis.
House of Anubis.
Yeah.
She knows how much I hated that part.
Did you?
Of that show. Yeah, when they would go Sabuna.
Yeah.
It's like, that is so dumb. Why did they do that? My kids now make fun of us. They're like, remember when we used to watch this show? And you'd be like, how dumb. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my Deco mesh ruffles from underneath, and I'm just pulling them up a little bit. I don't want to pull them all the way up, but just a little bit. And that's what I call feathering my edge. Here's the difference. The bottom has the edges feathered so you don't see a straight, like here, straight line all the way across. Just lifting these up just slightly, just kind of feathers that edge so that you don't see the straight line. And then here, I'm actually gonna tuck some of this mesh right down here. So this is my bow home in here. So I'm going to take this, such a pretty bow. Kind of looking at how I want the North Pole ribbon to face. So usually what I will do when you have a sign with a corner is I will take the 2.5 inch bows and I will frame the edge of your sign like that. So I need to know where that falls so that when I pull my pipe cleaner down, they're kind of lined up in the same spot. I'm trying to find my other pipe cleaner. You're way over here. It's way over on the other side. I'm like, how did you get there when I was holding you both down like a bouquet? Okay, I know it went through. I just don't know where my pipe cleaner went. In some other direction. It like has a mind of its own. But I gotta make sure I get one on each side of the frame. I've had that too many times where I thought I had them on the other side, but I didn't. So now we're going to open that up so that these frame our North Pole message. We have the North Pole up here. We'll open that up.
Vicky said, sure would like to know if you have a tutorial on the candy cane you had on the door behind you. You were doing the hot chocolate bar wreath when I noticed it. It was so cute.
Candy cane.
I mean, she's done several candy cane wreaths and like the hot chocolate bar wreath behind you, you see?
That was last week Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has tutorials, both in the private and the public.
Always check my YouTube channel, which is Cats Creations Race. You can find all my tutorials there. Okay, there's that. So now I'm just kind of readjusting my bow at the top. Looks funny when I'm readjusting it from the top and not the way that you should. So I want to make sure Santa's laundry is open. And then I want to make sure my ribbons are framed.
On YouTube. Is
Per.
it .com just / Cats Creations Wreaths?
It is youtube.com/C/Cats Creations 777. Yeah. Okay. Trying to position my bow loops where I want them to go, and then making sure my ribbon tails are following the same pattern. And then if I feel like it's slightly over, you can just kind of gently give it a little tug back, just like so, and everything lines up. There we go. Alrighty, ready for some embellishments? What did we bring for embellishments? Oh, put them over here. Okay. So, a couple things at the North Pole. You have presents, because that's where all the toys are made. So, these Hobby Lobby carried up through last year. There's 4 different colors. You have like a lime green, a gold, a silver, those 4. So because I only have one of my ribbon packages left, they're made to be little ornaments. So I just cut the ornament part off. So we have like the little bow in the package. This is, I'm gonna actually put silver in there, because when I put the red one in there, I don't really see it. It kind of blends a little bit more, like the silver one. So silver's going on the inside. So,
Michelle said, beautiful wreath. You have inspired me to make a wreath today. It's a cold, rainy day here in Perth, Western Australia.
Yes, make a wreath. Put some Christmas music on. It's just something fun to do, something fun and relaxing. Because that's kind of what I do to get in the Christmas spirit. Put on some Christmas music, get back into that design thing. So we're gonna add some packages and some balls. Steve. He looks at me like, what?
Yes.
Can you find me some red and white balls about this size?
Scattered and flips?
No. Ornaments, plastic ornaments, this size.
Oh.
So I can add like, I need 3. You're good. You're good, nothing came off.
Okay.
So while he's doing that, I'm gonna add the packages to the Santa ribbon, just different colors. So I'm gonna add the gold just underneath. So it's like Santa brings presents. So these are gonna go right underneath each bow. We'll add the red one down here. So we took that one off. I had a lot more, but I took them out, put them in kits. there's the red one. I have to hold that one because it wants to pop out. So I'm going to put a package under each Santa ribbon because we put one in the center of our bow. And then this is something that has been lately bugging me, is sometimes there, depending upon your sign and your bow placement, there can be a lot of deco mesh space in and around the sign. So that's a great opportunity for you to add an embellishment. So while I was thinking, I'm like, the little ornaments are great, but I need a little bit bigger. And we have ones because we did an entire candy cane theme last year for the entire outside of our house. So we have tons of red and white balls. And we're probably going to change it this year to I don't know what. Do you have some that are red and white, or just red and white?
Get some that are red and white.
Oh, I like the one with the dot.
Yes.
Do you have another one with that's like dots or stripes? I know, it's such a pain. Like, cause the stripes on the ribbon and the dots, like the dots work. Look how cute this is. There's like ones with little dots. That's adorable. Kind of tuck in here, and then if you have one with little stripes, those just are nice little accents. Gold. So I'm just using Gorilla Glue on the packages. These packages are just styrofoam blocks with a cellophane wrapping around the end, and then they're just tied with like a braided thread. So I think we have one under here. So let's use silver because that makes the other side look. There we go. So I'm just lifting up the half bow and just kind of tucking that package underneath. So I don't want to place the ornaments until he brings me the other ones. But let's see, we have a couple in here that are silver and red and gold. So let's see. Ooh, that's really, nope, the wrong color. What did you bring me?
A little small bit.
Nothing this size dimension? Like another one of these?
No, I haven't ever found it.
Oh.
I'll go back and look.
Well, I'll make these work. We'll figure it out. So I definitely know this one needs to go in here because I love the way that looks. So this is that area where I was telling you, look. It's nice to see the deco mesh, but you don't want to have so much that your eyes are drawn to the sign, right? That's our focal point, but I want to kind of break this up because for me, it feels like there's a disconnect. Sometimes you can take ribbon tails and you can add more ribbon to the outside, which is an option we have if you can't find any more balls. Or I just have to wait until I go out and find them. Let's see. We could take solid red, which he did bring me, like the disco ball pattern. We can tuck one of those in here. And then just looking to see what other pattern has ones that are, I usually like breaking them up. Let me look. I really need another red and white is what I'd like. But I don't know. I like that. I love this one here. We can make that work. Don't like that one. Hang on a second. That is a little too big. We did this size. Don't like that one. I'm just like playing with colors because when I take this red ball and I take another like solid red and I tuck this in, this feels too red. But then when I take the red and white one and add that, it feels too white. That's why it's like looking at different options for that, just to kind of break some of that up a little bit more. And I don't want to put that in until I know for sure. See, Kat would go out there and find them all instantly. It's like, oh, they're right here. And he would tell me, oh, I was looking someplace else. Let's see if we can get the candy ones. Might work. That is so pretty. I think I'll leave these ones out because I like the highly glitter. Here he comes. No?
I found some, but they've got blue.
Oh, those are fun. So look, somebody might be getting these in their retro Christmas kit, the ones that are like blue, because blue is like the trending color in both Halloween, well, it's in all the holiday. So let me do this. What if we just red? What if we just did red? But I still like the other one. Yeah, I'm looking at that. I think I'm going to technically leave those off because I'm going to go in and put the ones that I know I'll find. No, I'm not saying that you don't know where it's at. It's just, remember all the bulbs that we bought for the outside of our house for Christmas? Big green tub had all the balls in it. So like when we were pulling them all off the garden, we just filled this giant tub full of them. I'm gonna go look for those. But let me show you what this looks like on the front door right now.
Do you want to go look at them?
Huh?
Do you want me to go look at them?
No, I'll do it. I'll do it. So, and then I'll post the pictures when I go to when I take the photo of the wreath on the front door. I'll add those. So, let me show you what it looks like now. So, this is your average 36-inch door. This is an outside door. So if you are taking pictures of your wreath using an inside camera, let's see if we can tilt it this way, which is I think how I'd like it. I like things kind of off to the side. Let me pull this back so we can actually see the North Pole a little bit more. The packages, so photo tip. When taking photos, make sure all of your ribbon tips are straight. You don't want to see stuff like this. This is sometimes what I see in people's photos and I'm like, oh. I even do this when I'm out at the stores and I walk by wreaths or have bows. I'm always straightening their ribbon tails because it's a nice sales point. So you want to see all that. So everything pointy, loose, all open, not flat. So really make sure that all stands out. But there you guys go. And I will take a picture and post it. If you guys give me about 15 minutes, you'll see the final product once I add the balls to it. But any questions you guys have? Nothing?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining me. Join me on Sunday. We're going to do another Christmas design. I just haven't figured out what it will be. I'm hoping when I get down to Shinoda tomorrow, I'll find something that is like, oh, I can't wait to come back and show them how to create with this. So I'm going to hold that for Sunday. It'll be Sunday at 6 Pacific, which is 8 Central or 9 Eastern time on Sunday. Other than that, look at my website throughout the weekend. Kits will be loading. Usually I get like 4 or 5, then I'll list them, and then I'll make another 4 or 5 and list them. So just kind of like pop into the shop, and you never know, you guys might be lucky enough to score them before I get them out to everybody else. All right, have a great weekend, and I hope to see you guys on Sunday, and I'll talk to you then. Good night, everyone.